clean code suggests that every method should have 0 or 1 argument. Sometimes 2 is acceptable, more than that is dangerous. A lot of times students come to me with methods that have a lot of arguments and ask, how do I refactor this? The answer, of course, is that context matters. It really matters what exact problem you're trying to solve. But what I want to show in this video is a way we can decompose a method into a couple of different pieces that will help us solve a problem. So here is my simple example. I wrote a divisibility calculator. We have an isDivisible method, and it takes 2 arguments. So now looking at this, we can say, well, is this going to see if 4 is divisible by 2, or 2 is divisible by 4, or 2 divides 4, or 4 divides 2? Well, depending on how we write it and how we prefer to express our discrete mathematics, we might come to different conclusions here. This is a little ambiguous, although at the same time, it's a completely fabricated example to show you a technical trick. If we look at the implementation, right, it just does the obvious thing. But let's imagine a world where we have only single arguments, and I'm going to use a technique called method chaining. So what if we did this instead? Is 4 divisible by 2? This is the refactoring I want to head toward, is that we'll use a series of methods that are chained together, and each one now is completely unambiguous. Is 4 divisible by 2? All right, how do we make that work? Let's go back in here and start refactoring. So we're going to make a method called is, right, that'll take this first argument, which is the dividend, and it's going to return, well, for lack of a better name, I'm just going to call a partial for now. So this will return a new partial constructed out of that parameter. I'll make a public inner class. I'll put the final there because I always do. You could skip that if you wanted to. We'll call this a partial. And now a trick here is it's a public class, so anybody can see it, but I'll give it a private constructor so nobody can create one unless we're already within this context. So this will be my constructor that takes as an argument the dividend. Let's hold on to that here. Great. Okay, my next step is to give this a public method. Let's go back to what we're trying to make here, divisible by. And this will return my Boolean. All right, so the observation here is that using inner classes and method chaining, at this point on line 18, we now have all of the information we need to do that computation. So let's go ahead and do it. This is going to be return dividend modulus divisor is 0. Let's come back over here, get rid of this case, run our tests. Nice. We don't need this one at all anymore. So there we go, a simple example of how we can use a nice object-oriented decomposition, introducing these short-lived objects to help us decompose a method with many parameters into a series of methods where each one has only one parameter.